We will now look at the revised part of ISA 540. The IAASB has released the approved text of the ISA on their website so that audit firms can start considering how the changes will affect their methodologies and start with the process of implementation. In the slides that will follow, the most significant changes and key concepts are described. The objective of the standard has been simplified to only refer to accounting estimates, not accounting estimates including fair value estimates. The objective has also been clarified to indicate that sufficient appropriate audit evidence is obtained to determine if the accounting estimate and related disclosures are reasonable in the context of financial statements. The word adequate is therefore no longer used to describe the work effort required in respect of disclosures, which could have resulted in a misinterpretation that the disclosure is less important than the accounting estimate itself. Scalability was a significant topic for discussion during the development of the ISA. The final ISA had to be applicable to audits of accounting estimates in private sector, public sector, and different types and sizes of entities. Scalability has been incorporated in the standard through the following means: recognizing a spectrum of inherent risk as described in the specific changes in requirements section below, including specific requirements for responding to assessed risk in that the auditor's further audit procedures have to be responsive to the assessed risk of material misstatement at the assertion level, considering the reasons for the assessment given to those risks, and take into account that the higher the risk of material misstatement, the more persuasive the audit evidence needs to be. Providing application material that describes how different circumstances that may exist during the audit of an entity affect the nature, timing, and extent of obtaining an understanding of the entity, determining whether specialized skills or knowledge are required, the assessment of inherent risk, and the nature, timing, and extent of further audit procedures. The application material also includes examples to illustrate the circumstances. How the importance of professional skepticism could be enhanced in the ISA was another significant topic discussed by the IAASB. The key concepts section of the ISA includes a paragraph that states that professional skepticism is affected by inherent risk factors, and the importance of professional skepticism increases when an accounting estimate is subject to a greater degree to the inherent risk factors. Similarly, professional skepticism is important when there is a greater susceptibility to misstatements due to management bias or fraud. Professional skepticism has also been incorporated in specific requirements within the ISA. For example, the auditor has to obtain an understanding of the nature of the accounting estimates and related disclosures that the auditor expects to be included in the entity's financial statements based on the auditor's understanding of the entity obtained. This requirement ensures that the auditor uses a questioning mind to think about which accounting estimates and related disclosures might be omitted. The auditor is required to design and perform further audit procedures in a manner that is not biased towards obtaining audit evidence that may be corroborative or towards excluding audit evidence that may be contradictory. Both corroborative and contradictory evidence have to be evaluated when the auditor determines whether sufficient appropriate audit evidence has been obtained. The auditor is required to stand back and evaluate the audit evidence obtained. The separate assessment of inherent risk and control risk during the identification and assessment of risk of material misstatement is now a requirement in respect of accounting estimates. The IAASB also plans to include this requirement in respect of other classes of transactions, account balances, and disclosures in the revised ISA 315. The revised ISA 315 currently contains requirements and guidance relating to the identification and assessment of risk of material misstatement, but does not prescribe that inherent risk and control risk have to be assessed separately. The separate assessment requirement in ISA 540 revised is a positive change, as this may result in a more detailed and focused assessment of risks and provide a better basis for designing and performing further audit procedures. The audit has to take the degree of estimation uncertainty and other inherent risk factors into account when identifying and assessing risk of material misstatement. Determining the degree of estimation uncertainty is an exciting requirement, but considering the degree of inherent risk factors, for example, complexity, subjectivity, and susceptibility to misstatement due to management bias or fraud, is a new requirement. Another new concept that has been incorporated into the standard is the spectrum of inherent risk. The spectrum of inherent risk can be described as follows. Inherent risk factors increase inherent risk to varying degrees. Inherent risk may be higher for some assertions than for others, and the degree to which inherent risk varies is referred to as spectrum of inherent risk. The higher the combination of likelihood and magnitude, the higher the inherent risk, and vice versa. There is now an explicit requirement in ISO 540 revised to determine whether any of the risk of material misstatements identified are significant. The ISO no longer specifically requires the auditor to determine whether accounting estimates with the high estimation uncertainty should be considered a significant risk, as this determination is not necessarily only affected by the degree of estimation uncertainty, but also by other inherent risk factors and/or the interrelationship between various inherent risk factors. The use of experts has been made more prominent with requirements to considering using experts during risk assessment procedures and a reminder to comply with the requirements in ISO 500 audit evidence when the work of a management's expert is used as audit evidence. The auditor's approach to obtain sufficient appropriate audit evidence has been retained, but further detailed requirements have been included under each of the following approaches. Obtaining audit evidence from events occurring up to the date of the auditor's report, testing how management made the accounting estimate, or developing an auditor's point estimation or range. Testing the operating effectiveness of controls is not shown as a separate approach, but rather as a separate requirement that may be used as part of obtaining evidence with one or more of the above-mentioned approaches. The requirement to obtain sufficient appropriate audit evidence about whether disclosures relating to an accounting estimate are in accordance with the FRF have been reworded to require the auditor to design and perform further audit procedures to obtain sufficient appropriate audit evidence regarding the assessed risk of material misstatement at the assertion level, which includes presentation. When the auditor calculates an auditor's range, the audit is no longer required to narrow the range based on audit evidence available until all outcomes within the range are considered reasonable. The auditor now has to develop that range includes only amounts that are supported by sufficient appropriate audit evidence and have been evaluated by the auditor to be reasonable in the context of measurement objectives and other requirements of the FRF. This does not mean that the auditor is expected to obtain audit evidence to support each possible outcome in a range individually, but rather for the points at both ends of the range, thereby supporting the amounts falling between those 2 points will also be reasonable. As part of the overall evaluation of the results of procedures performed, there is now a stand-back provision where the auditor has to evaluate whether sufficient appropriate audit evidence have been obtained by taking all relevant audit evidence obtained, whether corroborative or contradictory, into account. A section on communication with those charged with governance, management, or other related parties have been included, which creates a link to ISO 260 and ISO 265, where the auditor is required to communicate sufficient qualitative aspects of the entity's accounting practices and significant deficiencies in internal control respectively. In closing, at face value, the changes in the requirements of the ISO do not seem significant, but the implementation thereof and the training required should not be underestimated. There is also detailed application in other explanatory material as well as appendixes that should be considered in achieving the requirements.